You think it's just fear. A little too much fear all at once. Your heart pounds, your chest tightens, the room feels like it's closing in. But that's not what's actually happening. What's happening is a full-body emergency response built over millions of years, firing off for a threat that isn't even real. Once you understand what's really going on in there, panic attacks start to look a lot less mysterious and a lot less terrifying. It starts with the amygdala, a small cluster of neurons deep in your brain whose entire job is threat detection. Not careful, reasoned detection, fast, sloppy, better safe than sorry detection. It doesn't wait for your logical brain to weigh in, it reacts first and asks questions later. So, when it picks up something that feels dangerous, even a racing thought or a stuffy room, it sounds the alarm. That alarm hits your hypothalamus, which signals your adrenal glands to flood your body with adrenaline and cortisol. This is the exact chemical cascade your ancestors used to outrun predators, what physiologist Walter Cannon named the fight-or-flight response back in 1915. Your body doesn't know the difference between a bear chasing you and an anxious thought spiraling in your head. To your nervous system, both are emergencies. So, your heart rate spikes, pushing blood to your muscles. Your breathing speeds up, pulling in oxygen for a fight that isn't coming. Muscles tense, pupils dilate. Digestion slows, which is why some people feel that hollow, nauseous feeling. None of it is random. Every symptom is your body preparing for a physical threat that doesn't exist. So, all that energy has nowhere to go. That's where the second part of the spiral kicks in, hyperventilation. When you breathe too fast, you exhale far more carbon dioxide than your body needs to lose. That drop in carbon dioxide makes your blood more alkaline, a real physiological state called respiratory alkalosis. It's responsible for the strangest panic symptoms: tingling fingers, lightheadedness, a sense of unreality, numbness around the mouth. The dizziness isn't a sign of catastrophe, it's a chemical side effect of breathing too fast. The very symptom that convinces people they're in danger is actually just their own breathing throwing off their blood chemistry. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone who's been through one of these. A panic attack typically peaks within about 10 minutes, not an hour, not an endless spiral with no floor. The body can't sustain that level of chemical flooding for long. Adrenaline gets metabolized, cortisol falls, and the nervous system brings itself back down on its own. So, why does it feel like it might never end? The answer is a feedback loop between your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for reasoning. During a panic attack, activity in the prefrontal cortex drops while the amygdala spikes. The part of your brain built to calmly assess the situation goes quiet right when you need it most, while the alarm gets louder. Your racing heart triggers fear. That fear triggers more adrenaline. That triggers more symptoms, which convince your amygdala the threat is real and escalating, so it sounds the alarm again, louder. It's a loop, feeding itself. This is also why panic attacks can start with no clear trigger at all. Sometimes, the first domino is just a slightly fast heartbeat, or one anxious thought about being anxious. A panic attack isn't a sign your body is broken. It's a smoke detector reacting to burnt toast instead of an actual fire. Overly sensitive, badly timed, but functioning exactly the way it was built to. That's why the most effective ways to interrupt one work directly on the physiology, not just the thoughts. Slowing your breathing, especially extending the exhale longer than the inhale, raises carbon dioxide back toward normal, calming the dizziness and tingling at their actual source. Grounding techniques like naming 5 things you can see or feel re-engage that quieted prefrontal cortex, giving your reasoning brain something concrete to hold on to. You don't have to convince your amygdala everything is fine. You just have to give your body's own de-escalation system enough time and oxygen to do what it already knows how to do. There's a reason breath-based techniques show up across cultures and centuries, long before anyone understood the chemistry. Slow, extended exhales stimulate the vagus nerve, running from your brainstem through your chest and abdomen. Activating it sends a direct signal to your heart and lungs to ease off, a physical countersignal to the one the amygdala just sent. Deliberately tensing and releasing major muscle groups helps too, burning off the physical readiness that fight or flight primed but never used. Panic attacks are also far more common than most people realize. Large surveys estimate roughly a third of adults will experience at least one at some point, even without ever developing panic disorder. That's not a rare malfunction reserved for a small, unlucky group. It's closer to a shared design flaw in the human nervous system, one that shows up in boardrooms, classrooms, grocery lines, and quiet bedrooms at 2 in the morning. And there's a reason panic attacks so often strike at the calmest moments, late at night, sitting still, lying in bed with nothing obviously wrong. Your amygdala isn't just scanning the outside world, it's constantly monitoring internal signals like heart rate and breathing, a process called interoception. When your body is finally still, those signals become easier to notice, a heartbeat that sped up slightly from caffeine, a breath that caught for no reason. In a busy moment, your brain might not register any of it. In a quiet one, it suddenly has nothing else to focus on. And there's a modern twist to this ancient system. Your amygdala evolved for short-lived physical threats that resolved within minutes. Today's triggers are often abstract and ongoing, a stressful email that sits unread, financial pressure with no single moment of resolution, constant notifications competing for attention. Your amygdala doesn't distinguish between a threat you can outrun and one you can only worry about. It just stays primed, closer to threshold, more likely to tip into full panic over something small. That's part of why chronic stress makes panic attacks more frequent, not because the amygdala is broken, but because it's been on high alert so long that it takes less and less to set it off. Knowing all of this doesn't make panic attacks pleasant, but it makes them predictable, and predictable things are far less frightening than mysterious ones. When you understand that the tight chest is just blood redirected to your muscles, that the dizziness is a temporary dip in carbon dioxide, and the whole event has a built-in 10-minute ceiling, it stops feeling like proof something is fundamentally wrong with you. It's not weakness, it's not a personal failure to stay calm. It's an ancient alarm system doing exactly what it evolved to do, just aimed at the wrong target, in a world that no longer has bears waiting behind every tree. You thought it was just fear, but it was never just fear. It was your oldest, most loyal system trying, in the only language it knows, to keep you alive.